Yo, Elliot. Kind of an interesting, kind of strange question, but I could totally understand where it's coming from our buddy FA, right? FA wants to know if pressing overhead, or really any axial loading exercises, will contribute to the stunting of his growth, or will he get shorter? So essentially, and this is not as silly as, a lot of you guys are probably like, oh, he's so silly. It's not as silly as you might think, because if you consider the axial loading associated with squats or overhead presses, it does have compressive forces down on your spine. And you'll find that as those weights are resting on your spine, it's called axial loading because it's right, your axis is the very first vertebra, the atlas and axis, and as it presses down, all your muscle viruses, all your muscle imbalances will be exaggerated. And if, basically all those muscle imbalances either exaggerate or increase or decrease the curvature of your spine. So you can imagine, look, if you're axial loading you're compressing the spine, and you've got a tendency to have an anterior pelvic tilt or a hyperlordosis, basically a really curved low back because you've got weak abdominals, really weak hamstrings, overdeveloped hip flexors, that curve is going to increase, right? You will actually become shorter because of the compressive forces exaggerating the muscular imbalances that you have. Also, if you tend to have a thoracic kyphosis, you can increase the amount of kyphosis that you have. If you're doing back squats and that axial loading increases the curvature of your upper back, you are literally, by increasing the curve of that spine, it's not a straight line anymore. It never is a straight line, but you're moving it further out of a straight line into a more bent up spine. So you literally can, yes, you literally can grow shorter through axial loading exercises. And this brings me to my point of balance training programs. I love overhead presses, I love overhead squats. It's really one of my favorite ways to press is overhead. I prefer it over bench pressing. I think overhead is great. The thing is that when you develop the musculature associated, the big superficial muscles associated with pressing overhead or doing any particular movement, in absence of the stabilizer system, right, that which would keep you in good posture, you further facilitate the imbalance between that which will keep you supple, that will keep you soft, will keep the spaces within your vertebrae flexible, movable, mobile, and the big compressive forces of your superficial muscular system, right? So these muscles keep growing bigger and bigger, right? All the pecs and lats and shoulders, they grow bigger and bigger and bigger, and they compress. The compressive forces associated with the strain on them compress the muscular system, the stabilizer system that surrounds your spine. You got little weird muscles like the multifidus and shit like that kind of hang out right in between the vertebrae and right next, very proximal to the spine. And the more those muscles, the more that muscular system, the more that stabilizer system is compressed, the less nervous activation is running through it, right? Because you're kind of depressing it. So what happens is you become a big, dumb meathead, right? With no agility, no mobility, no flexibility, no movement capacity, just fucking muscle. So now you squashed yourself and you're just a muscle-bound weirdo, right? With no athletic ability. I can kick you in your head and run. I don't care if you can bench press 800 pounds. What you've got to do is work the balance in between the soft strength associated with flexibility, namely all those ones that are extra respiratory muscles. I talk about this all the time by laying over the bioenergetic stool. When you lay over the bioenergetic stool that I've taught you how to make, right? And I'll make you more videos about how to make these things. You open up, you reverse the curvature of the spine. When you reverse the curvature of the spine, you not only stretch the superficial muscles, but you create separation in between the vertebrae that give breathing room to the very proximal muscles of the stabilizer system that allows the nervous system to recognize that, hey, it's fucking there. What happens is you create motor sensory amnesia, where the muscular system, the deep muscular system, like your nervous system forgets it's even there. It doesn't even know how to activate it. You have to turn that shit back on. So massage is helpful. Laying over the bioenergetic stool is helpful. Stretching is definitely helpful. Foam rolling is definitely helpful. Yoga is very helpful. If you've got a really good yoga instructor, they're always telling you lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Everybody focuses on the movement, right? You know, do this stretch, just move it, do it. As opposed to maintaining posture, instantaneous axis of rotation up on all of your joints, and moving with really strong posture, lengthening. I think if you study Pilates, they always talk about lengthening. If you study yoga, they're always talking about lengthening. I think there are others, you know, Alexander technique, or there's a couple other methods that are associated with regaining instantaneous axis of rotation of all the joints, improving your posture. But one of the main things that they will tell you, especially throughout the spine, is to lengthen. Balance the two. I go to yoga class in the morning, and then I come here and I beat the shit out of my body with weights. I lay over the bioenergetic stool in between sets. You've got to balance soft strength and hard strength. You can't be all one way. Otherwise, yeah, you're gonna have those horrible side effects that people have been attributing to weightlifting for so many years, which it's really a byproduct of bad weight training. Good luck.
Yo, Elliot.